Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
Shadowing it. I don't know, Chris, if you overheard some of what we were talking about around your father and his aging process and how it is that he becomes more and more discombobulated easily. Throw jury duty into his week, and you've screwed up his week in a way. Just the idea of him having to make a phone call to find out if he has jury duty will send his entire week off the rails.
He has a routine, and part of that routine is not calling anyone Monday at 5 o'clock.
That's right. Yes. Not worrying about responsibilities and not knowing where he'll be Tuesday morning. It's something that leaves him really scattered. But when he left here yesterday, he's not here today because he was indeed called for jury duty. I cannot wait to find out where that ended up. Stugotz revealed to me that as he left the studio, your father was muttering under his breath saying that he hopes that some people don't come to his birthday party because he's invited more people than the boat can hold.
I don't even know if that's true, but
his words,
he's
man.
panicking about everything these days.
Yeah. This is actually good to hear because I can't make it because I have a previous commitment that day and I haven't figured out how I could say that because we made like a big deal about wanting to be invited, and then when I saw the date I'm like, I can't go. So like I keep getting like little nudges via whatever the app is that like this invitation is from Chris's mom, who like I don't know well enough, and I wanted to like reach out and be like, hi Mrs. Cody, like I have bad news for you, like I have a work commitment that day, I can't go to this party, but I don't know how to do that.
You can just say that. I think she'll be fine.
I caved in.
You RSVP'd correctly.
I know.
That was crazy.
+1.
Yeah, but you have to understand that him RSVPing doesn't mean anything other than he'll
course.
take up the space if he doesn't show up. Someone won't be able to go in the event he doesn't show up.
I just wanted the text to stop. I mean, I had to be honest.
Your
so
mom
I said, yes, I'll be there. I'll figure out my way out afterwards.
My mom's been
aggressively RSVPing people.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been too much, and your father is genuinely concerned that he doesn't have a big enough boat. We're going to need a bigger boat, like they said in Jaws, because he's invited. There are too many people invited. And yesterday, I didn't hear this part. Stugotz and Greg were talking privately in this room about about people he hopes don't come. That there have been, and I didn't overhear that conversation. That was the most private of the inner circle between Stugotz and Greg Cody. I may have been one of them for all I know.
No. I mean, when you have a boat that holds a certain amount of people and you've over-invited, you are hoping you have a list of people that you are banking on that will not show up to your birthday party. And so I asked Greg. That's got to stay between me and Greg. I mean, for now.
But we know it's Chris's mom's coworkers. Yeah. He said that on air.
Not saying anything.
I kind of want to go with my dad to jury duty today. Can we check in on him a few times and call him?
I don't think you can.
Look, we'll just call him like from the waiting room. I don't know. I just like the idea of checking in on him.
I think you can. I don't think they ban phones in there. I was on my phone the whole time I did jury duty.
I'm on the invitation now, Stugotz, and you missed this, and this is like a horrible decision by this company. There's a little button that says decide later. For the RSVP. Like,
that's
not
a
yes, not a no. There's a decide later.
I missed that.
I was all over that one.
Well, that's why she keeps aggressively sending you guys the text. You guys are all hitting snooze on her RSVP.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. touch mouthpiece, use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I know you all know this. I know I'm not going to be surprising anybody with what is an obvious observation that has been so for a while, but I think it bears noting nonetheless. The Tua stuff is weird, man. It's super strange the way everyone reacts around Tua. In the history of South Florida, for me, it's been LeBron, polarizing, understood it. University of Miami football team, polarizing, controversial, understood it. And it's Tua. Don't understand it. He is a fundamentally decent person. In the history of South Florida sports, if it's Antoine Walker, if it's Eddie Jones, if it's Jamal Mashburn, it's a bunch of people where the hope resides on, is he good enough? That part I get with Tua. Is he good enough? Is he good enough for me to dare to hope? But he's not arrogant. He's fundamentally decent. The people in South Florida's history that have created this kind of stir tend to be the guys who are actually lightning rods. It's Alonzo Mourning. He looks like he's going to spit at you at all times. This is a fundamentally decent human being. And the number of people that I heard from yesterday, Stugotz, that I don't normally hear from, veteran NFL people, all of them surprised because they're like, oh, the quarterback never does that publicly, and that quarterback certainly doesn't do it.
Right.
And so there was genuine surprise among cynical NFL types that were all like, whoa, he really needed to get that off his chest about how poorly treated he was by Brian Flores.
I'd like to give Chris some credit because I believe that his presence made Tua comfortable.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I really do.
I concur.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I gave him a little hug, a little dap,
Yes.
right
Good
when he
job,
walked
Chris.
in.
Yep.
You're home here. This is a safe place. That's what he felt.
Well done.
A lot of this happening with Coach Jason Brown of Last Chance U. Maybe the truth hurts too, and we've become so soft that these kids need sweet nothings whispered in their ears at an all-time high. Flores is a coach for men in the man's league. This is no longer that. A lot of people calling the guy who's risking brain injury soft.
Are they forgetting he played for Nick Saban?
I know. He can't handle a tough coach.
What's happening there? Like what? How do any of you have the audacity to call someone who makes their living in professional football soft? Like, what has happened to the discourse on the internet that this is something that people feel is in any way reasonable? Because the amount of discourse and the amount of discord around this quarterback, it's not reasonable.
Right. Coaches are funny, Dan, and fans' reaction to how coaches coach is, to me, even funnier. But if you're a coach and you think you have 70 players and you could treat them all the same way, there's a blanket way to treat all your players, I got news for you. You're a bad coach. You have to learn what makes your players tick, what makes them thrive, what allows you to get the best out of a certain player. And you're hearing from a lot of old school guys because this is what coaches love. Hey, you have to go through some adversity. Hey, you have to be yelled at. No, you don't. No, you don't, because perhaps by doing that, you won't get the best out of me. If I come in every day, you tell me how good I am, you'll get the best out of me. People are different. People experience criticism different. Tua doesn't like it.
I would say that most people don't like criticism. Athletes are better at handling it than most because they come up through a pipeline of a whole bunch of coaches who are accenting their failure all the time. So they're better. The athletes, in my experience that I have met, are much better at treating failure as learning than other people who are the average person is much more sensitive to criticism than the average football player.
Yeah, but not all. You can't make a blanket statement like that for all professional athletes. Some of them, they'll act like they like it. They'll act like they're okay with it. They want to fit in. They're a tough guy. I can take it. Coach is yelling at me, but no. Inside, Dan, some of them are hurting. They don't like it. They don't want it. It's not the way they want to be coached.
I am not saying to you that there's a blanket I can throw over all athletes. I'm simply telling you that through the pipeline they come up through, They either get tough or they get weeded out because the criticism is nonstop. It's everywhere. It's correction. It's filed under growth and improvement.
I think they're actually better at taking criticism than being made fun of. Prime example being the ESPY Awards with Norm Macdonald.
Yes, criticism is coaching. Like that's we can file it however you want. There's no disputing that the coach of the Dolphins now is willing to behave like an ally, and Belichick doesn't have a job because he taught people like Flores how to behave that way without getting any of the results. Because all those guys, Charlie Weiss, all of his disciples behave that way, and Belichick's not working right now because somebody didn't trust him to do it that way. The part that was interesting to me is the need for the unburdening when everyone at Dolphin Camp knew all of that was so. They saw how it happened. And Stugotz, I would say to you, anybody listening to this, you come out of college, you're a college kid, you're put in the furnace of here's the most difficult position in sports, figure all of it out quickly. And also your coach isn't on your side. And your offensive line is the worst one in football, and your receivers have the worst separation in the league. That will wreck a David Carr before he gets started. A number 1 draft pick gets ruined because the offensive line can't block, the receivers can't get any separation, and next thing you know, his confidence is totally shot. And if you don't have confidence, you cannot play that position. It cannot be played well without confidence.
And in Tua's case, he didn't have the backing of his own owner. And a lot of people took issue with that. Like, hey, if you're going to take out Flores, take out your owner. He didn't believe in you either.
I feel like it needs to be said. It helps to have encouragement and have a nice working environment. It also helps to have Tyreek Hill.
You could believe in your quarterback, and also, if Tom Brady's potentially available, try to get Tom Brady.
Deshaun Watson as well.
Well, I mean they were upgrades at the time.
The owner didn't do the daily barrage of confidence sucking, Stugotz, where the quarterback is giving voice to. Imagine you get up every morning and you don't actually want to go into where it is you're going because you don't feel supported.
Oh, no, I understand that, Dan. I'm just giving you some of the reaction to, what people heard yesterday. And they're like, hey, if you're going to take out him, take out your owner. He was going after Deshaun Watson and Tom Brady.
I don't think who's saying that?
Chris Canty, I mean.
You're just what are you doing?
Evan Cohen, I mean.
Okay, so a show that you were listening to, it was on all the shows. This is a thing that ended up spreading, and Armando Salguero writes, Tua taking everyone behind the curtain and admitting something well chronicled, that Brian Flores was not for him and actually was against him to the point of wanting him replaced, will make some, perhaps even the quarterback, feel good about a painful chapter. But how does this unburdening help the 2024 Dolphins? The open road ahead is more important than the wreck behind. Only way bringing this up could help the 2024 Dolphins is if Tua proves his rough time with Flo made him somehow stronger, which is what difficult life experiences often do for people. Regular season is less than 3 weeks away. Make everything about that, not 3 years ago. Tua knows what he's doing when he answers that question that way. He's lived in this pool of lightning for long enough that he knows what's going to happen when he calls Brian Flores a terrible person. He knows that Brian Flores is today going to have to answer questions about that in Minnesota. I would say, pop psychology, Stugotz, somewhere in growing up with the contract and the safety of job security, if not the safety of your physical health in a sport that can leave you concussed, he wanted to shoot across the league. I'm here now, and I don't keep my mouth closed if something's bothering me. We were surprised last year when he went after Ryan Clark in a press conference, right? Because he doesn't do that. He knows what he's doing when he sits next to Chris Cody in those tight shorts.
Comfortable.
And
nice shorts,
and
I'm wearing them today.
He's the one who reveals himself.
Did you wash them?
Again?
You're wearing the shorts again?
They were in my hamper.
Those Viore?
Yeah, they are, actually.
Nice.
Big fan. I've been influenced as well.
A lot of compliments on your short shorts?
Those are not short shorts.
I was expecting to be outside. I know you want to mention slacks.
He told us the night before we were inside.
When does Dan know exactly where we're going to be?
I sent you pictures of where we were going to be.
I saw those slacks of like, hey, we could be here. There's also an outside tent. I saw pictures of an outside tented area.
Chris has a point.
It is camp, you got to go with a campy feel, campy look.
He doesn't have a point. I mean, Dan sent us a picture the night before. It was inside. It was air conditioned. There were couches. It's exactly where we were sitting.
I knew Jalen Phillips was going to show up with short shorts, so I was kind of doing a thing, as you'll see. And if you think the Tua thing made a lot of news, wait till you hear River Craycraft.
Oh, my God.
What happened with you and your support system when you were maligned and dragged internationally yesterday for being on the couch in a way that was less than flattering?
I actually got a bunch of texts from people just being like, hey, man, I watched the whole interview and you were good in it. You helped out. Like, I felt like yesterday we drew a lot of attention to how awkward I looked in my shorts, and I added some value to the interview if you watched the whole thing.
You did.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the support that you got from all over the internet.
My friends just being like, you did good. You brought good energy there.
Yeah.
But everyone agreed. The takeaway was whoever put you in the middle, he just sets you up to lose. That's a bad spot. Doesn't matter if you're hanging out with friends, whether you're doing an interview. There's never a situation where the middle of a couch is the spot to be.
Listen, Dan, when you're guys like me and Chris, we're not the stars of the show. You're the star of the show. It says the Dan Le Batard Show, according to the Dan Le Batard Show. What you need is a few close friends just to send you a text acknowledging that you were there.
Thank you.
That you did something. That you asked a question. That you said, that you made somebody smile.
Well,
you need it. I needed it. I got it.
Chris Cody left that interview lamenting to me via text, I really fell flat when I asked him to play the air guitar. That question didn't go anywhere.
That part, yeah. Because he didn't have his regular guitar. So what do? You say, hey, if you don't have your regular guitar, play some air guitar for us. And it was as awkward as you could imagine.
So people are mad at Tua for being honest. And I also didn't realize Brian Flores has so many fans in the sports media and across the world. I had no idea because people are concerned about Brian Flores and the campaign smear that Tua laid on him yesterday. It's ridiculous. Give me a break.
Do you guys not think this is weird? Can you?
The whole thing is weird.
Can you just observe it from all of your different angles? Jessica, Roy, Billy, do you not think it's strange the way people react to this quarterback? Unreasonable.
Yeah, I learned people are going to people. Yesterday was people peopling. That's what happens. He's a lightning rod while also kind of not really saying much. I mean, he said it in this interview, but before that, he was like very.
But why? He doesn't understand it, and I don't understand it. Is it just? Can you give me a?
He's never won a playoff game.
Can you give me a better theory than this one? Something more reasonable than what I'm about to say. Eddie Jones, Jamal Mashburn, Antoine Walker. These were players that were criticized, and at least in part because there were really high hopes. Zoe too, Alonzo Mourning. Really high hopes, and you were always questioning whether those players were good enough to beat Michael Jordan. And they weren't, and you knew they weren't, and so that was part of the polarization combined with their personalities. In this case, the Dolphins have a season of hope for the first time this century because they have a good offense. He's the centerpiece of that. But you still wonder, would he look like that if I injured Tyreek Hill for 6 games? And you wonder it even though he's done okay when Tyreek Hill hasn't been out there.
Well, that's the thing, is that he's done just enough to keep everyone still wondering and not 100% sure one way or another. Like, usually by this point in someone's career, because there was hype around Tua, and people were tanking for Tua until he got hurt, and then he dropped. He obviously wasn't the number 1 pick. He fell to the Dolphins at 5 or whatever it was, right? So people wanted him to either be great or not be great, and he's been good enough so far. But you don't know why he's been good enough. Is it him? Is it Tyreek Hill? Is it Mike McDaniel? I don't know. So I think people at this point are just frustrated because there's no answer right now as to who's right and who's wrong. And people want to be right or wrong, and you still don't know, is Tua good or is he not good, and who wins this right or wrong battle. And we're like 4 years in now, and people are tired of this battle. So anything that happens, they want to either pounce on him and say, I was right, he sucks, or I was right, he's the best quarterback ever. And he gives you just enough to have both camps still wondering what the answer is.
And it was the same case at Alabama, right? Like, he came in surrounded by so much talent. We saw so much Tua on national TV after he throws a touchdown to win a national championship game in which he didn't even start. And so there's all of this feeling of, oh, Tua's propped up by all this talent, and now I think people feel the same with the Dolphins.
He's the reason Jalen Hurts had to transfer to Oklahoma.
That's right.
I mean, think about that.
The thing that he did, though, that wasn't there before is statistically, the way we measure these things, no matter who's responsible for it, when he was throwing the ball last season, he was doing so quicker and more decisively than any quarterback in the league, and he was doing it in all top 5 offensive stats that if I didn't give you the name and just showed you the numbers, you'd be like, that's a great quarterback. If I'm just showing you the numbers, you'd be like, I have no doubt about what this quarterback is. This isn't even Brock Purdy. This is a quarterback. You draft a quarterback top 5, and those are the numbers you get. That's a quarterback who's a franchise quarterback.
Well, yeah, and he led the league in passing. It was a down year in terms of yardage and leading the league in passing, but you have the out, which the people that want to discredit him in, well, it was Tyreek Hill. Well, look at the weapons he has. He's just throwing it short. Tyreek Hill then gets all of the yak there. That's what the excuses are for everyone.
That's not empirically true, though, on Tyreek Hill.
I mean, facts don't matter anymore. It's just whatever people want to say is the argument that they're going to make. And then Tua, in a sense, doesn't help himself in the interview, which was like one of the stranger admissions, which didn't get as much play, which was, yeah, we were just trying to get Tyreek 2,000 yards, which is like, oh, okay.
Right,
but like also we should be trying to win a playoff game if we're the Dolphins, not just getting Tyreek Hill 2,000 yards.
But Dan is talking about why he's so polarizing. You don't get this reaction with Jordan Love. He just signed the same contract. I mean, and the body of work is not what Tua's is. He had 8 games. No one said a word when Jordan Love signed that contract. In fact, they praised the Packers. Good job.
But Jordan Love also wasn't playing for the first couple years of his career because he was sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. So there was lots of questions of Jordan Love. Even last year at the start of the season, I think there were questions of Jordan Love. And then he became one of the best quarterbacks in football for the second half. And now he gets the deal. And now you have to see who actually is Jordan Love.
But if you're trying to find out what the difference is, it's that Jordan Love went to Dallas and beat the Cowboys on the road in playoffs, right? That's it.
And when he's out of the pocket on defense, you're terrified.
He makes plays.
And when Tua's out of the pocket, you're like, this is going to probably work out well for us on defense.
To the Tua and Tyreek Hill point also, like you saw a point in last year's season where while Tua is, leading the league in passing and he's up there in all those numbers, the conversation is Tyreek Hill the MVP of the league? It wasn't even, is Tua. There was a point where it's like, well, Tua is maybe in the mix for MVP, and then it became, well, Tyreek Hill is the MVP of the Dolphins.
Can I ask you guys about the psychology of this part? You would acknowledge to me, given the specific set of circumstances that had him contemplating retirement and his mother telling him that he should retire, that Tua has gotten pretty good at decisive risk versus reward in all aspects of his life. The choice to do this yesterday with what it invites, Stugotz, it's so much easier to be quiet. It's so much easier to not say anything that could be a headline for any reason. It's what every other quarterback does. It's why veteran NFL people I do not normally hear from were like, holy shit, I can't believe that position and that dude said that. If he's good at risk versus reward, do you know how seething the rage has to be about how he feels about what Brian Flores did to him for him to choose that risk, Stugotz? Because the only reward is he gets it off his chest. There are no other rewards. What are the other rewards?
There are none as far as I could see, but that's a valuable reward to get that off your chest. He's been holding that inside for a long time. I know people at Dolphins camp will say, hey, we knew about this.
He doesn't have to say it publicly, right. Stugotz. He hasn't for years.
But it probably felt good for him to say it publicly, that's, to me, there's value there for him.
Well, in the offseason, he proved Brian Flores wrong by signing the deal, right? Like you had the guy that didn't believe in him, that said you don't belong, and he finally signed the deal. So he finally, even with all the people questioning around him, in a sense, proved him wrong. And, it's not a huge risky move for him because there'll be a little bit of, talking about it yesterday and today. Maybe, they'll ask Brian Flores, whatever. But, Brian Flores isn't at the top of his career right now. He's a coordinator. Brian Flores isn't at the top of his game. They're not going to play the Vikings. So he had a chance to take a shot at someone who was not a good person to him in his view, and he took it. But it's not a big risky play because what are the actual consequences of it?
The reason I say it's a risk is because other quarterbacks aren't doing it because they invite. Mike McDaniel was being asked about this yesterday. He's like, I'm laser focused on this thing. It's all that distraction bullshit because we need to feed the content machine in August because football's around the corner and YouTube wants to charge you $700 for the NFL Sunday ticket.
That's ridiculous. I'm telling you, I'm thinking about going back to old school, in terms of consumption of football, Dan, where I just get the CBS game of the week. I get the Fox game of the week.
The old bunny ears?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, whatever game I get. I mean, that's it.
You don't want
You're
that.
so full of shit. As if that happened to you, you'd be like, oh, this is great.
You would never get the Jets.
Saints Falcons at 4 o'clock. Great.
Yo, chicken
I
thigh.
get every Dolphin game.
You're saying anymore. 3:45 Dexedrine commercial.
Tight budget. Trying to save money. You guys are criticizing me, calling me a liar.
Rent a different car every week.
That's not true either. Can you guys give me some more information on this Gaston Cherilus, the former first-round pick in football, a very large man who was on a flight to Ireland and allegedly urinated on someone, and the flight had to go back to Boston, which is really terrible for everyone involved. That they would have to watch this former first-round pick, 330-something pounds, wander around, hit a passenger allegedly, urinate on another passenger, and they're like, turn it around? Let's get that flight back from Ireland back to Boston.
Is there a way they can vote? All right, passengers, what do you think? Are we turning around here? What if I spit on someone? Is it any bodily fluid? I feel like if I'm a passenger 7 rows back, I'm like, I'm cool with keep going.
That's actually a fair question, but who's gonna jurisdictionally when you're in Ireland? Who's going to then? You don't want to arrest someone in another country. I don't know. It just seems like a mess. Although it's the airport, I don't know.
Stand up in front of the plane, say sorry to everyone.
This is a
All right, you're good.
substantive crime. This is going to come with a great deal of headaches for Gaston Cherilus, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I want to ask the question because he's blaming sleep medication that he had not tried before. And I've talked about this before. Many years ago, probably 20 years ago, somebody got up during a flight and was so drunk that they took a crap on the service cart. That's a thing that happened. And we talked about it on this show, saying how drunk do you have to be to do something like that in front of people? Urinating on a passenger on a flight when there are these kinds of consequences? I do think sleep medication can do that. I do. I want to give
Make you wake up and urinate on people?
I want to give this person the benefit of the doubt. I do believe sleep medication, if you get the wrong one, can alter you, but I doubt very much that anyone listening to this is willing to extend that kind of benefit of the doubt to the urinator.
You never been really sleepy and gotten up and kind of walked into the wrong room and gone to pee before?
You've done this?
I mean, I'm not saying
How
I've
hammered
done
were
it,
you?
but I've got some friends that,
I know
similar
someone,
scenarios.
I know someone that's done this. They sleptwalked and peed in their closet. I think
what
it
I'm
was like
saying.
my uncle.
I have
or
a friend that
something.
once peed on a computer keyboard. He was so hammered. Yeah.
My daughter peed on me yesterday, but it's because my mother-in-law put a water diaper on her instead of a regular diaper, so the pee goes right through. Those water diapers.
What's
Dan,
a
I don't know
water
if you know-
diaper?
I don't know what this
water
is.
diapers. You don't know what a water. You have a
Feels
child.
counterintuitive.
So the water diaper, basically, if you pee in the water diaper, the pee-pee goes in the pool, but it catches the poopy.
Oh.
Because then it doesn't have the little gels or whatever that absorb the pee-pee when you go pee-pee. So if you go in the pool with a regular diaper, those gels then become full of
It would
of
absorb the
water.
whole pool.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So and then your pool has no water.
I have noticed in my parenting years that when you're having a pool day with a big group of kids, there are just 2 ways of thinking. Some parents lean into you can pee in the pool, and some parents are like, you get out of that pool and you tell me when you have to pee. And if those conflict, like my daughter, I'm going to be honest, you can tell by looking at me. We're teaching pee in the pool.
Right in the pool.
We were about to start with Stugotz's day-late weekend observations, but Billy piped into my headset with some breaking news. He is saying that Nick Wright is making a formal public play right now for the top spot in all of debate television because he has dared to go where no person has gone before this offseason. He has a top 5 list of the quarterbacks with the most pressure on them.
I went there
season.
3 weeks ago. I mean,
Yeah, but you're not. Well, here's the thing. You know how there's Steven's A list that he does every day, and then there's Mad Dog's A list? So apparently, Nick Wright has a segment where it's called Nick Wright, or it's called Nick Makes A List. So Nick also has an A list that he makes, and his list today is top 5 quarterbacks under the most pressure this season, according to Nick.
Can you hold on for a second? Because you mentioned,
if I must.
Yes, if just for a second, just because you mentioned Mad Dog and he was railing against the Mets for having the Hawk Tua girl throw out the first pitch.
We're going to throw in a girl there who, went on a YouTube thing and in magazines telling you how to, do a sexual function. Really? That's what we're going to do.
Have you seen
on camp day at a day game at Shea Stadium. She wouldn't know Tommy Agee from Jerry Kuzman. Yeah, we're going to let her throw out the first pitch.
That's right, but that's not the sports.
Nobody's going to watch the Mets and the A's because she's thrown out the first pitch. This idea that she's going to bring new eyeballs to sets. What non-baseball fan is going to tune in after she throws the pitch to watch the A's and the Mets on a Thursday day in August? They're not doing that. So the idea that somehow, some way you expose your team to a new audience is a bunch of nonsense. If you're in Nashville, Tennessee, or if you're a country music star and you haven't caught the baseball bug yet, you're not going to catch it because she throws out the first pitch with a team that's 30 under 500 in Oakland and a team that's 500 when you're the Mets. That's not going to happen.
Roy, what are you laughing about?
She wouldn't know Tommy Agee, but Jerry Kuzman.
Well, he's right about that. And he also, listen, his point was made when he said camp day.
That's a great point.
Genius,
I
yes.
didn't realize that when we watched the clip originally. If there's a stadium full of kids there, that's awkward.
I think I read that she was there on behalf of a pet adoption thing that she's working with to get pets adopted. By the way, can I just say this about her? One, incredible that we're still talking about her a month and a half in. Everybody thought she has 15 minutes of fame if she waited way too long to capitalize. The fact that this is still going on is incredible. Two, she seems like a great friend. Because I don't know what her brunette friend's name is, but her brunette friend that was in the video with her originally is at all of these things with her. Bad job by her that no one knows what her name is, but she's in the background of absolutely everything that Haley's doing. Running around. She threw out the first pitch to her brunette friend. It wasn't even she threw out the first pitch to Mr. Met, Miss Met, whatever. She threw it out to her friend, and her friend is everywhere with her, but she's the one that's not capitalizing because no one knows her name.
I would read a long essay of why we call her Hawk to a girl and not Hawk to a woman, because she is 22 years old.
Yes, that's totally fair. This is something
How
that
long,
we're
though?
guilty of.
More than 1,500 words.
6,000 at least.
6,000?
Yes.
I read
Someone,
that in
the
high
cut,
school.
get on this.
All 4 years.
Hawk to a woman is the correct way to say that. And,
Hot to a lady.
Well done, Roy.
Number 5, Josh Allen.
Really?
What? I wrote it down.
Really?
I wrote that down.
Wait, so you've got your own list? Okay, so you agree with Nick Wright that you have...
I wrote Josh,
Yeah, but you have it number 3 there.
No particular order. I mean, I just wrote down 5 names.
Number 4.
Jalen Hurts.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
He's got it at number 5. Weird thing to get excited about. Number 3.
Tua.
You didn't have 2 on your list.
Nick wrong. Yeah.
Number 2.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah!
Someone's above Brock Purdy?
Stugotz has Purdy number 1.
Oh, no particular order.
Number 1, Billy.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh!
Curveball.
Huh.
That is a good one.
I'm putting Purdy at 1.
Can I get the sound of Sal Licata also going after the Hawk to a woman?
The Yankees have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto breaking records. Ruth, Mantle, Gehrig, and the Mets have Grimace and now Hawk Tua. Come on, bro. I can't take it. I cannot take it anymore. It's ridiculous. And then you wonder why fans get so ticked off and upset. It's embarrassing. Is it the biggest deal in the world? No, absolutely. Does it mean anything on the field? No. But that's the problem. The product on the field isn't good enough, and you're coming up with these silly gimmicks that are laughing stock. It's a joke. Hawk Tua.
I think I just want to talk about this the rest of the show.
Classic Stugotz move there of like just getting done with a rant and
It's
like
a great-
hot Tua.
You
Just,
have
like
to stick the
dismounting
landing.
with
Yes.
just saying the name again.
He's learned from the best. That's how you stick the landing right there. That is a great job. Sit back, take phone calls, get a 20 share. I mean, I love it. Good job, Sal. I mean,
He really needs to not be that angry about every single thing. There needs to be a dial gauge on that. Like, turn it down to 9 once in a while, Sal.
Dan, you can't ask for Gasbag of the Week sounds every week and then be like, these guys are too angry.
right.
I don't get Gasbag of the Week
That was a
sounds.
submission.
Yes.
I have yet-
Gasbag
No, that's
of the week.
I don't get
Came
Gasbag.
after.
Congrats, there were
Yeah.
2.
Right.
That was great. Do we now vote for a favorite, or how does this work? We've never had 2 before.
We have had 2 before. We rarely have 1, but we have had 2 before. We're going to get to Stugotz's weekend observations in just a second, a day late. But this is from your boy Jimmy Traina, who writes, whoa, huge NFL Sunday ticket news. YouTube TV and YouTube users will be able to build custom 2, 3, or 4 game multi-view panels, a function that YouTube tested last season. So I told you earlier that if you were to buy it through the Apple app, you would have to pay between $680 and $720. Which is $300 more, Stugotz, if you want your all the Sunday football. That's steep, and you'd be making a mistake, obviously. You can still get it by half that price in a bunch of other places, but we're headed toward a place where football is going to be so expensive and all this streaming is going to be so expensive that you're going to price out a huge number of fans. Like you can't keep throwing these multi-$100 fees at people, Stugotz. Like it's not, people are struggling too much today with inflation and with a cup of coffee costing you $7. Like, you can't keep hitting people just because you found new oil streams for your sports services with all of these fees that are going to make it so that a class of people cannot watch all your games.
I mean, you can do it. They are doing it. It's up to people to budget. How important is watching the NFL on Sunday to people and their families? So it's going to be interesting. See, I understand what you're saying. You're going to lose some fans. I don't think the NFL cares if they don't have as many eyeballs. They're raking in the cash. I mean, from multiple platforms.
That price tag. If you're somebody who works at or around minimum wage, it's your entire salary.
And all this coming on the heels of the NFL losing an antitrust litigation suit for $4 million, which was overturned, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So all that on the heels of that, now
$4 billion.
$4 billion
$4
with a
billion.
B.
Yeah.
With a B.
You always have the CBS game of the week, Roy, and then Fox. I mean, they're free.
We can't go back at this point. We're all too addicted to it. Let's do Stugotz's weekend observations, please.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, just 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, rather than focus on what we don't have, I'd rather focus on what we do have. And what we do have is Florida State at Georgia Tech from Dublin. A sneaky good Montana State team on the road at New Mexico. I like the Bobcats. And the grand finale at 12 midnight. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors at home. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it, college football is back.
It's right now.
Well, I mean, a couple days.
It's upon us. It's
Yes.
this week.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
here.
Yeah. Yep. Midnight Hawaii, man. That's how you kick it off. Nothing says Ireland like Atlanta, Georgia. Top 5 athletes or people in sports that connote Ireland. OLI. Al McGuinness.
Thank you.
Mike Flanagan. Chris Ivory. Ray Shepard. For you, Roy. Number 5, Ryan Leaf. Number 4, Andrew Luck. Number 3, Jeff Ireland. Number 2, Antoine Jameson. Is it Ton or Twan? Jameson, whiskey, you heard of it? Yeah.
Antoine, yes, I've heard of it.
Number 1, Ken Shamrock. Keep an eye on the Brewers. Whether I'm up or down this week, by Saturday, everything, and I mean everything.
He's going on Hawaii.
You got it. 37.5-point favorites at home. Can't wait.
And it's just you wake up in the morning and find out whether you won your bet or not.
I've never
right?
watched a Hawaii game.
The Brewers are 11 games up. What are you keeping an eye on? They've clinched the division practically.
They're getting hot.
Brew Crew.
Yeah.
Yelich out for the year, huh, Stu?
Yelly.
Did you know that?
I didn't. But they've won 5 straight without him, which begs the question, are they better without him?
Does beg that question.
It does beg that question.
It does.
Yes,
What are you
of
going to
course,
do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to beg to hear that question?
Pretty please.
The Mariners became the first team in Major League Baseball history to have 6 players whose last name starts with an R score a run in a game. They did it against the Pirates. Arg.
Oh, you got applause from Jeremy. I mean,
what? Not the applause I wanted, but I'll take it. Sometimes you need a friend, any
writing.
friend. Right, yeah. Chris, you did great yesterday. Got it. NBA memes posting that Nikola Jokic passed Michael Jordan for the highest box plus minus of all time. Hey, NBA memes, the only box you need is one where you throw Jokic's rings in and another one where you throw Michael's rings in and tell me who has more. Jokic, -5. You know what the J in Jokic stands for, Dan?
I do not.
Not Jordan. You know what the N in Nikola stands for?
Not Jordan.
Not even close.
Okay.
It's a good guess, though, man.
Thank you.
Football isn't back until Mitchell Trubisky is on a field somewhere doing what he does best, throwing interceptions. Hey, Mahomes, do it in a big spot. I dare you. Enough with the no-look pass. I mean, enough. Seriously, we're making a big deal. It was an 8-yard gain in a preseason game against the other team's number 2s. Please. I want to hear about it.
Stugotz minor penalty, 2 minutes for Chiefs talk.
I'm in the middle, though.
It's a delayed penalty.
All right.
It's a delayed penalty.
We have the puck right now.
Extra man.
How about you look at the guy that you're passing it to? How's that sound?
Stugotz minor penalty, 2 minutes for Chiefs talk.
Ooh, a double minor.
Delayed 4 minutes?
Yes.
Damn. The WWE gave Kevin Durant a belt at Fanatics Fest, making it the 3rd time Kevin Durant was given a championship he didn't win. StugottsBook.com. Mac Jones is a Jaguar. Trevor Lawrence looks straight ahead. Chelsea, the rare club. The more money they spend, the worse they get. Jim Harbaugh going through pregame warm-ups with receiver gloves on. I love him. He's so great. I don't care if he doesn't win a single game. He's awesome.
So ridiculous.
Receiver gloves.
It is. It's just what would happen if an NFL team was run by a lunatic. Let's find out together.
4th quarter Stetson Bennett would be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but only 4th quarter Stetson Bennett. Teams should have that, like a closer in baseball, or quarterback who only comes in for late game situations.
Dolphins had this a few years ago with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Well, think about this. Drive for your life. Tua or a fully rested Tom Brady. Drive for your life. Tom Brady's on the sidelines. He's 42 years old. His body is rested.
45.
Whatever he is.
45.
Tua has played 3 quarters. He's exhausted. Brady on the sideline dissecting that defense the entire time. You call him in for the final drive. How about that?
I kind of like it. I am actually kind of maybe in on this idea. Call Peyton Manning out of retirement, see if he wants to be somebody's fourth quarter quarterback.
Yep.
He's 47.
I mean, you'd still take Brady, right, with 3 quarters rest over Tua. Drive for your life. For your life. For your life. No?
It's when you hit the for your life the third time like that, you really push me to the precipice of thinking, would I give my life to this? What would I feel better about as the bet? Not as a silly, stupid sports conversation, but just for my life.
Right.
I think I have to give it to Brady just because he's already sold his soul to the devil for all of the fortune that has come his way. So perhaps he's got some secret deal he can make on my behalf.
They're talking about you guys right now on Get Up.
Really?
I mean, it's just the Flores Tua thing, and it's crediting our show.
You think you're right?
Is it you in the middle with your shorts?
No,
on
they're
the
not.
sofa?
They're not showing it. It's more just the topic bar, but they're talking about us.
Does it say with Stugotz or just the Le Batard
Yeah,
show?
it's
Because
just
I saw
Le Batard
that
show, yeah.
a few
Le Batard
times
show.
I get that a
yesterday.
lot.
I see Stugotz's name there.
Oddly, I get it here a lot, too. Sorry. Broncos still haven't named Bo Nix as their starter. If they won't name him, I will. He's their starter. Thank you, Denver. I appreciate the opportunity. He's starting. Yeah, he's starting.
Yeah, it probably is.
It's the big secret. He's good there.
Commanders also named their starting quarterback as well. Daniels is going to start for them.
Right.
That's crazy.
Did anyone think he wasn't going to start?
Well, but I mean, it's still crazy, though, that we're going back to that model now. Just play him right away.
That is crazy. I mean, Rodgers waited, 2 years?
Mahomes waited.
Yeah, a year for Mahomes. Did Marino wait? No.
No.
If you try to go for a double and get thrown out at second, it shouldn't count as a hit. It's an extension of the play. I mean,
But he touched first base. That makes it a single.
yeah, but he got greedy and went for 2.
So should you not get a single if you get thrown out stealing second?
Listen, my observations.
Yeah.
What about a triple? Should it not be a double?
What?
If you get thrown out at third.
Yes.
Yeah, no hit.
Oh, no hit at all.
Yeah. What's the problem?
You have to end up at the base safely. At the end of the transaction, you have to be safe at a base, according to Stugotz.
The ball comes off your bat. The play ends with you being out. How's
You're
it
out.
a hit?
Yeah.
You're out.
It's an out.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Billy.
Should a walk be a hit?
No, walk's a
No.
walk.
No, walk's a walk.
What?
That's 4
I'm
balls
sorry.
right there, man.
Stupid of me.
You sound
Walk be a hit.
ridiculous.
What's the matter with you?
You didn't do anything. You just sat there with a bat on your shoulder.
Does a home run count? Because you end up back at the same place that you started from.
But you're safe.
Wow.
But there's no
But you're
out.
safe,
There's
right.
no out.
And there's a run.
Well,
Yeah.
the umpire
right.
rarely makes the safe sign at the end of a
They
home
should.
run. Yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
Well, they made the trolley sign.
Yeah, but the twirly
I love
sign
the
is
twirly
irrelevant
sign.
if you miss
Yeah.
home plate.
Oh, that's true.
It's premature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Goose Crowder named the starting quarterback at Troy. Goose, great name. Top 5 people in sports that connote a call sign from a Top Gun movie. Number 5, Chipper Jones. Number 4, Hollywood Brown. Number 3, Goose Crowder. Number 2, Mav Carter. And number 1, George Gervin. The Iceman.
Goose Gossage.
My list.
Okay.
Why Chipper Jones? There was Chipper in Top Gun?
There was a Chipper, yeah.
I don't remember a Chipper in
Pilot.
Top
There
Gun.
was a Hollywood. There was a Goose. There was a Maverick. There was an Iceman.
Okay.
Do you have a movie,
Hence the list.
Dan, that like resonates that much with you that you make references to it constantly?
No. Well, he's only got that, Point Break, and Rocky. It's only 3
Tango and
that-
Cash.
It's the only, and Tango. Well, it's been a while for Tango and Cash. He hasn't mentioned that. in
Don't
about
leave
10
out Rocky
years.
4.
Yeah, all the Rockies.
Rocky 5 never
Casino
happened.
in there too?
No, not Rocky
Not for
5.
him,
No.
no.
I don't like Casino. Long.
You didn't like.
Oh, sorry.
Casino?
Clams Casino is what Stugotz like.
Bacon. Oh, the best.
My bad.
Little League Classic. Great for the game. Also, pay the teachers and save the whales. Tired of that. When they said the Yankees and Tigers were playing at a Little League stadium, I just assumed they were talking about Yankee Stadium. Short porch, Dano.
Short porch, yeah.
This is going to sound impossible, but I feel like we're not talking enough about Caitlin Clark. I mean, she's incredible. I mean, she might be the greatest basketball player outside of Michael Jordan I've ever seen. She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You took the take like one step too far.
My
like you
dad,
went flying
you're
by.
Right, you're right. You're right. I apologize. But my dad, he was over the house, and he has never asked me to sit down and watch a WNBA game, and he did. This past weekend, he did. He wanted to watch. I didn't watch, to be honest with you. I went out, played a few holes, had a couple of heaters. He was watching the game.
That's not what we're objecting to.
It's still early, though, on Caitlin. She could pass Michael, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It's still early. His first rookie year, Dan.
7 rings to go.
What?
Well, she hasn't even played it. There hasn't been an opportunity to win a ring yet.
Stugotz has not ever acknowledged that anyone could ever pass Michael Jordan under any scenario, real or imagined.
Can I ask a question without being called a sexist?
No.
Scary start, but go
I
ahead.
guess we'll find out.
Can we change the court for the Indiana Fever?
Oh, I hate their court.
Oh,
like the
so
gray.
ugly.
It's the same
the
as like
grays.
the Nets court. It's just like
Terrible court.
desaturated.
Yeah.
When I think of Daniel Jones, the first thing I think of is him chasing down a defender after an interception.
By the way, Billy, that was sexist.
When Caleb Williams' career is done, they should build a statue for Bryce Young outside of Soldier Field for being so bad it allowed Chicago to draft Caleb Williams. Congratulations to the Bears for being bad at the exact right time. The Jets would have drafted Drake May. Xavier Worthy. Jesus Christ. Skip cookies there, Chris. Daryl Housh-Doucette, quarterback of the USA National Flag Football Team, called it disrespectful to assume NFL players will take Olympic team spots when the sport debuts at the 2028 Los Angeles Games. Hey, Housh, I got news for you. If Patrick Mahomes wants your spot, he's getting your spot. You agree?
Yes.
I understand what he's saying. It's unfair. This is my lane. I'm the flag football guy. But if Mahomes wants to play, he plays, right? And we all want it. I mean, who cares about Housh?
Yes, more Mahomes is good. Everyone would like more Mahomes, yes.
Except for Housh.
Except for Housh.
Right. Death, taxes, and Mekhi Becton getting hurt. Also, he's an Eagle. Their problem now. Report, John Rahm is experiencing deep regret over his move to live. You know what they say, Dan? Money isn't everything. I didn't say it, but they do. I told you this about Rahm. I told you this a while ago.
Yes, you did.
I did. Thank you. He's haunted, man. Every week with this guy. And you got paid $350 million. You made your bed, now lay in it. And rub $1 million bills all over your nipples. What happened there?
I don't think there are any $1 million bills.
There should be. There's something sad about watching preseason football.
Every morning I try to get the bank to give me one. I just go by them.
The $1 million bill?
Have you guys made the $1 million bills yet for me?
There is something sad about watching preseason football. I mean, I watch it anyway, but it never brings me joy. I've never smiled while watching a preseason football game. Have you? Unless someone else off to the side makes me laugh.
No, Randy McMichael jumping from the 10-yard line as the tight end, fourth-round pick 25 years ago. I smiled in a press box during a preseason game.
Joe Flacco is a Colt. Blake Snell has a 1.03 ERA his last 8 starts. He's scorching. You know what they call him, Dan?
I do not.
Second half Snell. Over that stretch, he has 70 strikeouts. You know what the S in Snell stands for, right, Dan?
Strikeouts?
Good guess, but no. It stands for second half Snell. I tried to tell you. I tried to warn you.
You did try to.
Yeah, just 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, you tried to tell me.
I keep having this nightmare that Sam Darnold is going to be great in Minnesota. Sean McVay letting an assistant be the head coach for a preseason game so he could take the day off. Sean, the Stugotz, is strong in you. Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey made a 66-yard field goal, and Next Gen Stats says it would have been good from 72. What the hell? Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations. 4 minutes.
Stugotz minor penalty, 2 minutes for Chiefs talk.
Hello, humans of cyberspace. It's Mike Ryan bringing you one of the best character actors of all time. You know him from Shameless, Boogie Nights, and last but not least, one of my all-time favorite movies, Fargo. It's a classic interview with William H. Macy on DLS.
You play a lot of career losers in your movies, so I guess we'll start here. Has anyone ever told you that you look like former Miami Dolphins coach Cam Cameron, who was 1-15 with the Miami Dolphins here?
All right. But does this make a man a loser? Come on, he was the coach of the Miami Dolphins. Let's give him that, okay? Yeah, I play a lot of losers. It's true.
But do you get told a lot that you look like him, or that he looks like you? I guess.
Well, I've heard it before. Yes, I've heard it before. Good-looking guy, isn't he?
Yeah, sexy, charming. You were born in Miami. I didn't know this. Do you come back here a lot?
I get to Miami every once in a while. I've got family all over Florida. My mom was a Mississippi girl, and yeah, I know Florida pretty well.
But do you spend much time here, or not really, just born and then evacuated?
No, I come back every once in a while.
What would you consider your most successful movie? You were nominated for an Oscar in Fargo. You've been in Air Force One. You starred in The Cooler, Boogie Nights. I imagine probably Wild Hogs grossed better than any of them, I'm guessing. What would you consider, if you can only pick one, your most successful movie?
I mean, certainly all those you named. Wild Hogs, we're going to make another one. That one did well enough. We're going to do a sequel.
How about Fargo? What about a Fargo sequel? Any chance we get to see Jerry Lundegaard in prison?
Wouldn't that be something? Hooey. I would love to work with the Coen brothers again. I think they are great. Everything they do, I think, is absolutely great. They are consummate filmmakers.
I would love for you to, since it's a sports show, sort of say a couple of sentences in Jerry Lundegaard's voice to motivate a local team here. Can you do that for us? And you do it as the loser character.
Oh, geez. Just because you win one game and lose 13 doesn't make you a loser, for goodness sakes.
William H. Macy, thank you for tolerating our nonsense. Do you have one line above all others that people, when they see you, spit back at you?
Well, certainly after Fargo. I mean, around my household, we had to do a non-Fargo talking area because it's addicting when you start talking that way. I don't know. No, not anymore. I mean, there's a lot of lines from Wild Hogs that come up or plays, but thank God I've been around long enough that, there's a couple of memorable lines that I've had.
Do you have a role that you've turned down that you really regret in retrospect turning down?
Not so much. No, I'm pretty good at reading scripts. Certainly there have been roles that I wish I could have gotten, but they were never offered, and I turned them down. No, I'm pretty careful. And truth to tell, it's not like I get offered that much stuff. I mean, I'm not an A-list guy. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Is there anyone you've hated working with? Anyone that you really didn't get along with? I mean, you've worked with Alec Baldwin, with LL Cool J. You've worked with Harrison Ford, as we said. Anyone that you really didn't like working with very much?
No, I've been blessed that way. I mean, I've heard the horror stories just like you, but I have been blessed. Every film I've been on has been pretty good, and I've always had this feeling that if you show up with your A game and you know the lines and you're on time and you treat people with great respect, you're never going to have a problem, and that's been my experience.
When's the last time you walked into a store and bought a DVD?
You know, we get those things called screeners. My wife's in the academy, and I'm in the academy, too. And oh, that's not true. I bought some DVDs just last week. I want to direct a film, and I was looking at an actor, and I bought some DVDs.
What's last question before we let you go here? What is the greatest perk involved with being you? Because when you say you get these DVDs, I imagine that's not real high on the list of perks that get involved with being your kind of famous. Okay. We just got hung up on by Jerry Lundegaard.
We're sorry. Your telephone is out of order. There appears to be a receiver off the hook. Please check your main telephone and extensions. PUAMI.
Not feeling very good about myself right now. We'll be right back. If you have been listening for a while here, you have heard me say some version of when it comes to politics, I believe all the sides are purchased, that corruption is something that is more rampant in government all across the board, no matter where it is that you position yourself, so that the game of politics and anyone who wants into politics, I enter with an inherent bias, thinking that person is not interested in change, is only interested in power. If that's what your career choices are, it's an ugly way to make a living. There are altruistic people out there trying to do the right thing, and they get swallowed by all of the breaks in the system. But if you were watching last night, I didn't want this moment to get by without comment, because I thought it was fairly extraordinary. We've noticed over the last few years that people in power do not willingly give up that power. It must be taken from them. That is what the cries for equality are, and it's why they so often sound like threats. The idea that Joe Biden, who I've had plenty of criticism for, but who seems like a decent man, the idea that he would in these times be selfless enough to do what is best for the country, what is clearly and obviously best for his party, the fact that he would willingly choose to give up power when the other side is so brazen about what needs to be done to keep power, gerrymandering, federal judges, Mitch McConnell, all of it, like it's a fairly extraordinary thing that a sitting U.S. president talked into it by loved ones and people who care about the party would do the selfless, noble thing. It's a legitimately heroic act.
Yeah, it's country over ego in this situation. The problem with last night, however, was he gave a 48-minute speech, but it was after 11 o'clock. They went on way too long last night.
They cut James Taylor's performance. I mean, if you know your target demographic for your, middle-class white voter in their 50s or 60s, they are furious that James Taylor performance was cut.
I tuned in around like 9:15. I'm like, oh, Biden must be going up soon. I thought it was going to end at 10. It was like just Steve Kerr going. And I'm like, wait, he's first? There's still a lot. I'm like, okay, I've seen enough.
Wait, did he talk about not playing Jason Tatum in the gold medal game?
They were in the United Center, so he had to do the old, I've had a lot of good memories here. Oh, yeah. We celebrated here in the 90s, remember? He did like a Clinton thing. He was like, let's do it again.
That's a tough spot for Kerr. That's just a difficult, out of your element, making a public speech, no matter how confident you are, no matter how much of a champion you are, being a charismatic speaker at that moment, in that moment, it would be very easy to choke. It would be very easy to be starched.
How do you think the night-night thing was pitched to him? Is that just him, like, I'm closing with this, or do they have like a social media person that's like, hey, this
he has a speechwriter or
this will
something?
crush on social if you end with night-night?
That's a great question. I'm not going to lie, Chris. I didn't peg you as having watched more of the DNC than I did.
I just watched Steve Kerr, and then I was like, I got it.
After 11:30, you're losing most of the audience.
You're losing me for sure.
You're losing just about everybody. I was very pleased to hear something here that we don't normally have happen around here. Roy and Jessica are taking a trip deep into the Keys in order to get maximum Key West culture. I don't think any of us in the group have ever done that with anyone else in the group in 20 years doing this. What are the details of this trip?
Yeah, so I am attending the Barton and Bear Key West Invitational, and they're raising money for the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation. I'm a part of a barbecue team.
You are. Is Jess
No, Jessica is going to have another role in this one. I'm on the team with a friend of this show, Dave Williamson, and Jody Flanagan, who is the pitmaster in this situation.
Is this the Flanagan?
No, this is not D. Flanagan. No,
sorry.
No, so
would have been amazing.
But it sounds like
just
you're
a random person named Flanagan.
It seems like you're excluding.
No, she's a chef.
Jess, in the way that this has been presented.
Dan, we're still working out some of the finer details, but I will either be judging at the barbecue contest that Roy will be cooking in, or I may be part of the team Roy's on, TBD. But this is a charity. Don't worry about it,
You can either
Billy.
be on a team or choosing the winner. This seems.
Are you going to vote for Roy?
This seems quite.
You
should hold it against him. If he doesn't let you on his team, you should make him lose.
I mean, if his barbecue's not good enough, I'm not going to vote for him.
Unbiased.
However, I'm really excited for it. I think we're gonna be like shooting a video. I'm not sure the details. Me and Lehman are going. Like, we're going on our own dime. This is like a little vacation for us, and we're just happy to be part of this nice, great charity event, and we're really excited for it.
Also, Ken Griffey Jr. is one of the judges as well.
Would you be into at all staying on an Airbnb houseboat type of situation? Is that something that I find I have a hard time when I'm in Key West picking a place where I'd like to comfortably stay because the ocean will batter everything, and anything in Key West tends to be pretty beaten up.
I would absolutely stay on a houseboat. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, the bathroom situation, not for me. The toilets are tiny. They make that like scary airplane noise when you flush them. I don't want to sleep on a boat, but more importantly, I don't want to shower on a boat. Yeah. But I mean, like Lehman's whole family, like they're like fish people. Like they love fishing trips and they want to sleep on the boat all the time. And like his dad wants to sleep on boats like just for fun, even if he doesn't have to. And that just. I'm happy for them that they like fishing so much, but that doesn't mean that I have to.
Lehman, more like seaman.
I guess you could say that.
Speaking of fishing, that's what we're going to end up doing on Friday, and on Saturday we're going to try to catch lobster.
Is the barbecue, does this have anything to do with why it is that Jessica has wanted to talk about whatever this Mr. Meatmaster is? Does this have anything to do with barbecue? I don't know what Mr. Meatmaster is.
Wait, are you barbecuing fish?
No, the barbecue event is on Sunday.
So it's just a mishmash of shit for charity.
Yeah. We do have the
That's what they should call it.
We do have the proteins, by the way. It's going to be tri-tip, New York strip, turkey breast, and baby back ribs.
No, Dan, Mr. Meatmaster is now apparently a new sponsor of the University of Miami Hurricanes, which implies the existence of a Mrs. Meatmaster who I would like to meet.
What is Mr. Meatmaster? What is that? It's just a sponsor?
A master of meat.
Okay, but that's...
What do you want me to know what that is? Yeah.
I thought that perhaps Mr. Meatmaster, if you're going to be talking about it all the time, and there's well, is it?
It's Mr. Meatmaster. I mean, what else could it be?
Is it a grilling aid of some sort?
It's the beef that athletes eat, Dan. It says so right here on MrMeatmaster.net.
So is it grass-fed beef? Is it a
You have a lot of questions about this beef. I mean,
you can become an owner. Join our investor community and be part of shaping a healthier, more delicious, and sustainable future. Partner with Mr. Meatmaster as we work together to transform the beef industry.
Also, speaking of Miami, have we talked about Life Wallet yet? I mean,
we did talk about this yesterday. Yes, Mike Ryan explained to us that John Ruiz doesn't give very much money and isn't very much involved, even though he would like to bluster his way up to the top of NIL. So.
Glad that's cleared up then. All right, moving on. I'm excited for the Keys with Roy to close the loop on that. Excited to be part of a great cause, and to get out of Miami for a couple days where the high there is only 87 degrees and not 95 degrees. So that will be a really nice break from the
you
heat.
guys are going deep down to Key West, right? Like that's deep in the Keys. I prefer Key Largo. You're
it's the best.
You're out. Yeah, it's
hour and a
fantastic.
half.
Right.
Love Key Largo.
Key West could be 6 hours each way. I mean,
it could be.
I know.
I hope it's not.
It could be, though.
We'll see.
Right.
Willow's coming. It'll be nice.
Looks like you can buy meat from Mr. Meatmaster. Like it's like
they have
sealed.
beef boxes.
Yeah, the beef box.
It's Mr. Meatmaster.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful about when you decide to drive there. I would go either very early or very late. Otherwise,
I go now.
A 3-hour trip will become a 6-hour trip very quickly. One accident, only one highway going in and out, all of it is very dangerous.
You arrive at a point where there's just one lane.
That's the entire point. I mean, I think I've been there a couple times. Actually, mentioning Greg Cody for a second here, the last time I went to Key West, I texted Greg and I said, Greg, I know you're a big Key West guy. Can you give me some recs? And he never responded. And that was our last correspondence, and now it's too awkward to send him another text message. That was like maybe a year and a half ago.
Why don't you RSVP, like, hey, waiting on those recs, and then I'll let you know if I'm coming or not.
Well, I already put maybe later.
How do we handle that if you want to text someone and you realize that the last time you engaged over text. They texted you and you didn't respond. If it's been like 3 months, do I need to respond to that text that I never responded to, or can I just keep
Sorry,
it
I
rolling?
missed your last one.
Like something like that.
Yeah,
Some stupid like, hey, been busy.
Right.
Just a stupid fake thing. But
Oh man, I don't know how I missed this one. My bad.
This one fell through the cracks, and then you answer it, and then
love
you
a
get to
fall
what
through the
you really
cracks.
wanted to text them about.
That time
It
where you needed me, I wasn't there for you.
Yeah.
But now I need you.
Yes.
If it's like a favor and you just totally drop the ball, like someone asking you for recs for something that you maybe had already talked about in person that day and they just totally blew you off, then it's a little awkward. But if it's just like nothing, like, hey, what's up, and you missed it, I don't think.
I also find it's hard when you're trying to book someone on the show and you have a texting relationship with them. Like, do I just go right into, hey, can you join us this time? Or should I do the whole, hey, hope you're well, how are things? By the way.
And then make the ask?
Right, so it's like I
Wait
feel
for them to respond first and then ask them after?
I always feel awkward with all of that.
How much of a conversation do you need to have with them before you ask that question if you don't just ask it in the first text?
I've just gone with, hope you're well, here's my ask. Just
the way
put
to
it
do
all
it.
on the table. I'm not going to be fake.
How many consecutive happy birthdays do you send someone that they don't reply back when you realize that's your only exchange with the person?
2.
Is once a year I tell them happy birthday, and then the next year I go to tell them happy birthday. It's like, oh, I've done like our only text exchange is me saying happy birthday. You never really, you'll say thank you. You never tell me happy birthday. We really never talk about anything else. Like, we're just not friends, it seems.
Do you answer all of your birthday texts?
I try to, yeah.
No, get out of here.
I even try to, like, if someone like will put like on Instagram or whatever, like I try to do more than just heart. Like I'll say like a thanks. Like I have like a rotation, like 3 or 4, like thanks, hey, thanks, man.
Thanks,
hey,
my
thanks.
dude.
Really
That's my
appreciate
go-to.
it. I don't really hit people with my dude.
For gender?
My guy.
Doesn't matter what the gender
Well,
is?
my girl.
I like thumbs up. I mean,
Just thumbs up.
I love that one.
Might as well be a middle finger.
Or just heart it.
What's
Thumbs
worse?
up for happy birthday? Ugh.
What's worse, a thumbs up or just a thanks?
Thumbs
Put
up.
this on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Do you answer all of your birthday texts, yes or no? Stugotz, when we started talking about houseboats, I saw Stugotz is very much embracing his descent into old age and the idea of late in life being on a houseboat somewhere just smoking marijuana and collecting senior discounts. Collecting senior discounts is his it's his life
dream, yeah.
It's his life goal. I was mortified when I started getting AARP email. That starts at 55, and once I started getting it, I was horrified by this. My father, all his life, has been trying to get senior discounts. Even when he was in his early 30s, he was pretending to be older than he was because he wanted the senior movie discount. And Stugotz is absolutely a senior discount person.
I mean, I love it. I keep getting AARP mail. I keep signing up. Abby
Did
throws
you,
it
did
in
you
the
get
garbage.
the magazine?
Oh, I got the magazine.
Did you see who was on the cover of the magazine this month?
No, I missed it. Who was it?
John Bon Jovi.
Oh, my God. Amazing. Wow.
Silver Fox.
We're getting old together. But I love discounts. And so AARP, while Abby is fighting her age, she does not want this mail, I'm taking hers. Because I am getting 15% off at Hilton Hotels, when I get a Grand Slam at Denny's. I'm telling you right now, getting old is good.
No,
it's good, Dan.
No, that's not true.
Getting old, there are benefits to getting old.
That's different.
55 plus community, the dream.
Beats the alternative, am I
You're
right?
Swinging it.
You don't have to leave. You play pickleball right there. Tennis right there. Golf right there. You want to have dinner right there. All your friends right there.
The hospital rooms are filled with old pickleball people who think that they're younger than they actually are.
It's also right there, though. I mean,
you could just limp on over from the pickleball court.
What's the youngest age to qualify for some sort of senior discount?
I think it's 50.
No, they moved it up. Before it was like 55, you're a senior citizen. Now they like moved it up to like 65. So
People are living too long.
Yeah, there's some places that like before, like I think, and I don't want to quote teams here, before you could go to like certain teams on certain days and you could get free tickets if you were a senior citizen. And then they upped the age of what senior citizens were.
I'm a senior citizen?
I'm seeing
How
on
old are you?
dealnews.com, Dan, that by being 50, you can get 10% off at Bubba Gump Shrimp.
That's what I'm saying. Anyone 50 or older could join AARP. They have a Labor Day sale going on right now, $9. So
the AARP magazine will never go out of business, right? Because like your clientele's always the magazine.
No one knows how to
age.
cancel it.
Yeah, no, and also like as soon as you think like, oh, only old people read magazines, more old people keep coming.
You guys are telling me that senior discounts now begin at 50, or this is
they
just
moved it
Bubba?
up to like 62.
They've
I
gone
think.
up in some circumstances, down to 50 in others.
Yeah.
What's the early bird special age group? That's like 55 plus, right?
I always thought of early bird being 60 and over. I thought that senior discount I think of as over 60. I don't
In
think
India,
of it as
it's
55.
60, but you're not in India.
What about Indiana?
Right, you're here. Yeah.
55 years old sounds a bit young. Thank you, Stugotz, for that clarification. I am indeed here. It's good work by you
Just
to
cleaning it up
be
for
that
Billy.
be that kind of observant for
55
us.
probably sounds young when you're 55, but it probably sounded old when you were 45. It's all relative, Dan. That's what I'm learning about aging.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play here some video and some sound of Lane Kiffen, because we were talking about college football here in the University of Miami, and we were also talking about just the sheer lunacy of Jim Harbaugh. Lane Kiffen to me is to college sports, and with a smirk. It's not crazy. He's in on the joke. Harbaugh's not in on the joke, Stugotz. Harbaugh,
No, he's serious.
Yeah, you're laughing at him, you're laughing with him, and he's like, "Carpe diem, I'm going to squeeze the blood out of your neck with my bare hand." And this thing that looks like a smile, it's not. It's just ferocity masked by teeth. Lane Kiffen has a sense of humor about himself, and he's doing the Nick Saban type of product placement press conference where there's clearly a Coca-Cola near the microphone, and Coca-Cola is a sponsor for Lane Kiffen's speech here. I don't think this is what they had in mind.
Does anybody drink Coke? You realize that 130% of your sugar for the entire day is in this one bottle.
You have to eat 15 oranges to get the sugar out of the Coke.
65 grams of sugar.
When was the last time you had a Coke?
A long time. I don't know. Chris Lowe drinks Coke, though. I do know that. All right. See you guys. That is true. You do.
Kick, save, and abuse.
Man, I can relate so much to the, hey, there's a guy over there that drinks Coke. Like, I get, like, if this was our setting, Dan would be like, Billy's always drinking Coke.
Why is Lane Kiffen taking out what is clearly a sponsor? That soda would not be there unless that they were giving a good deal of money to be around Mississippi football.
The other option was Dasani, which was the other bottle in the video. So
owned by Coke.
Also
by
a
Coke.
Coca-Cola product. That's right.
He said it like it was a good thing. You get 130% of your daily sugar intake.
No, I
Matt,
don't
that's so
think-
efficient.
Made me
Not
feel
how
good
he
about
said it.
myself.
Think about how many things you would need to take to get 100%. This one product gives you 130. It's like extra. If you get 130 on a test, that's like incredible.
I tell all my players to give 130%.
There you go.
I have not for 2 weeks. I have not talked about anything sports media related. I've not mentioned anything. Billy, I want to start keeping a board in here the way that we used to for race. Number of days I have gone without talking about a sports media topic.
That can't be true.
It is true.
Let's make it 3.
You will not.
we talked about Charles Barkley like a week ago. Wasn't that last Monday?
We gave Nick Wright's top 5 list 2 segments ago.
I had 4 of them. I had 4.
Me personally. The thing that I thought that you guys would like hearing about, though, an actual sports media conversation that may make some of you nostalgic. Sports Reporters is coming back.
Wow.
What?
Oh, get out of here.
Lupica.
Oh, my God.
Maybe
Main
zombies?
channel?
Who's doing it?
Only on YouTube.
Whoa, man.
Only on YouTube. Hosted by Jeremy Schaap.
Yeah.
Dick,
All right.
Dick
Yes.
Schaap's
Yes.
son.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's go.
Deserves it. Yeah.
Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the original producer of Sports Reporters has passed on, Joe Valerio. I read that it wasn't going to be necessarily in what's already been taped, sports writers, that it's going to be, the first one's going to be like Joe Buck, Al Michaels. It's going to be a new kind of sports reporters. This is what's being speculated.
They couldn't find enough sports writers?
The industry, the newspaper industry is so depleted that they could not find 3 sports reporters to sit around an old coffee table.
I'm thinking Greg Cody has a shot. I mean,
Jeremy Schaap hosting a sports reporter for sports TikTokers would be the best.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
Is this something that gets universal applause in the other room, or do we have any dissenters on, yeah, not interested, won't watch, don't have this piece of nostalgia? It's from a bygone age, and television has moved on. We really don't need people gasbagging around a coffee table. Done it since Crossfire. Meet the Press.
Crossfire.
Not that interesting.
Crossfire.
Don't need it anymore in my life.
I like it. I like it.
I like it too, yeah.
I don't think
I'm old.
Jessica has any. See, the original Sports Reporters was in Chicago. It was Rick Tellender and a bunch of old-timey, like really old sports reporters. That was the first one. It was Chicago cable access television, and some people got it nationally. They smoked cigars. That was the original incarnation. Then it was hosted by Dick Schaap on ESPN every Sunday morning, and then John Saunders, and at the end, Mike Lupica. But it hasn't been around for how long? Is it now 6 years? It got banished to ESPN2. They ran it off. Football came and stomped it out. Football comes on Sunday mornings and just shits on everybody. They're like that guy who was flying to Ireland, just pees on everybody, gets everybody out of the business on Sunday morning. And now it's coming back on YouTube, and I ask you, what is the audience for that?
The final episode, by the way, was May 7th of 2017. I think there's going to be a big audience, a big old audience, but a big audience.
A big old audience that doesn't know how to find YouTube? Can find an AARP magazine because they're still buying magazines, but won't be able to find how to pay for Sunday Ticket because it's on YouTube.
I was thinking about that when you mentioned YouTube, the Sunday Ticket. You can customize your 3 or 4 game box the way you want it. That's a great idea. I'm going to need someone to come over and help me with that. I don't know how to do that.
Don't your daughters help you with this? Don't.
Yeah, but they're not going to be home.
Yeah, but like for $700, you can buy just multiple TVs.
That is one inefficient way to do it.
Well, no, you're saving money. I could buy like a $150 TV, and I could put it next to another $150 TV, and I've now saved money. What?
$150?
Yeah, TVs.
No.
Give me $150. I'll get you a TV.
Okay.
He will.
I can in Miami at a gas station.
You could go to Target. You could go to Target right now, and like a 32-inch screen TV is less than $200. It's crazy.
I want to ask all of you this question because this happens to me once a week. Once a week. And I think it's because I'm going to assume that it's because of the car I'm driving, and that people assume that if I'm my age in a convertible that I will have cash. Once a week, someone in Miami comes up to me in a van with what is clearly stolen merchandise, asking me if I would like to buy something from out of their van. Electronics. Like, it's obviously stolen, and it happens all the time in Miami. And an alarming amount. And in an amount that I'm imagining cannot happen outside of maybe Los Angeles, maybe New York, the same way that it happens here.
That happened to me like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was at Home Depot and I was getting something for my anniversary, and like some guy was like honking, and I was like, what does this person like need? What do they want or whatever? And they pull over and they're like, hey, I have this entertainment system for your house, and this normally goes for $7,000, but I ordered too many for a job that I'm doing. Like, do you want it? And in my head, I'm like, wait, what? And then he parks, and then he opens the back of his car, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting kidnapped. But I started like looking at this thing,
and you
and
were
then
like, Stugotz, go home.
well, no, he's showing me all. He's like, look, you can put this speaker here and this speaker there, and he's like showing me this whole thing. He's like, normally these go for $7,000. And naive me, I was like, is this guy just gonna give me an entertainment center? Like, it doesn't fit in my house, but if you're gonna give it to me, like, I can figure out something to do with this thing. And then he's like, it's $7,000, but obviously I wouldn't ask for that much for it. And I was like, this is way too much entertainment system for my house. Thank you, though. And I left. And I didn't get kidnapped.
You had to purchase an anniversary gift, and you went to Home Depot?
Oh, yeah, because here's the thing.
Got a grill.
Social. Listen to me. Do not betray me and clip this, because my wife doesn't listen to the show, but if it's on Instagram, she might see it. Here's the thing. It's our 5th wedding anniversary, which, by the way...
Congratulations.
Yeah,
wood for the grill.
How'd you guys know wood?
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I did good for wood.
Well, what?
Huh?
I did a good one. Like, I had a good.
What'd you do?
Oh.
Yeah. Me and my wife went out to dinner, and I had a friend while we were out to dinner set up in our backyard a like a bonfire. With wood, because the wood is
and you burnt it.
And also, I had, what the hell did I have? I had the type of wine sitting there was like wood brine or something. It was like wood something It was
Really
the type
sunk-
of wine.
really
It was a
sunk
really
into it, huh?
shitty
Yeah.
type of wine, but it had wood in the name. So
That was the most Greg Cody.
That's adorable.
What
I
the
did
hell
there.
did I have in the middle of your sentence?
But that's adorable by me right there.
What do
Wood
you
is
do?
the
Wait,
theme?
Dan, your wood anniversary's coming up soon
Yeah.
too. Then what are you gonna do?
Morning wood.
Yeah, now we're talking.
I can go to your backyard and set up a little bonfire if you'd like to do the same thing.
Yeah,
I did.
please do that for me.
In a penthouse.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
Can one of you young people please give me some assistance here? Someone give
Sure.
me the kind of information that Stugotz would be getting from Emma and Rachel when he doesn't know how to program his Sunday ticket. When I'm going through Netflix, can you please explain to me why it is that
Enough
some
of
of
them.
the things that I am checking in on, I cannot get a trailer? Why do some things not have a trailer? I will not watch your show if you do not give me a trailer, no matter what word of mouth it's been given. And I don't understand why it is that some of my things, and it's not a few, it's quite a few, don't have a trailer.
I feel like I'm on the other side of this because I don't like it when the trailer just starts. Yeah. Like, I want the button where it says play trailer. I don't like it when I scroll past something and I'm thinking if I want to watch it.
Let me
And all of a
decide.
sudden, the
Yeah,
trailer's in my
right.
face.
And then there's a bunch of words in the way you can't really see what's going on. Then there's other ones that you click trailer and it's just like a random scene in the middle of a movie that starts playing. Enough of Netflix, by the way. We can finish your Netflix topic, but I'm over them. I'm done with them.
You guys
I'm
didn't
not,
give me any help.
but
It
I'm
does
not.
happen to you, right?
I've never watched a am I the only one that doesn't watch trailers on Netflix?
I don't have a choice because they just start playing.
They're making you purchase it without a preview. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, you're
They're
not
saying,
purchasing,
hey,
it's Netflix.
Well, they're making you watch it without a preview because any preview could be good. You can make any show or movie look like it's going to be the best show or movie in the world. They did it with the program. It was the best preview to any movie I've ever seen, and it fell flat. I don't need previews anymore. I don't need them.
It seems as though more of the movies or documentaries have trailers produced for them, where the TV shows will do what Chris was talking about, which is just sort of automatically play a scene from somewhere in the show.
I don't like it.
As a filler for a trailer. But it seems as though more of it is for movies or documentaries, not TV shows.
Have you seen, like, sometimes they'll change the little, like, picture, like the little tab or whatever, and sometimes they'll just, if there's, like, a big celebrity in it, even if they have, like, a little tiny minor role, but they're having, like, a moment at the time, they'll just put that person as, like, the headshot of the picture, and like, oh, wow. Like,
No,
I want to see what Meghan Markle did in this movie, and then you watch, and you're like, where was Meghan Markle in this movie?
You're
It's like,
spot
oh,
on.
She was a waitress at some
Netflix
point.
knows my taste in men. They will like go out of their way to put some random man that maybe will have like one scene in a show on the photo, and they're like, we know she thinks he's hot. She's gonna watch this, and they're right.
So many Statham things pop up on my Netflix. I have no idea
I don't
what he's
get
in.
Statham.
Really? What do you get?
Netflix knows I'm not interested
Oh.
in those movies.
Billy, what are your other objections?
Well,
to
Netflix has decided that they can decide when I want to, where I can watch things. Like, if I pay for a subscription for Netflix, right, and I'm paying the monthly thing, I should be able to sign into my account wherever I am to watch it, and I should be able to use the account that I pay for. But because of the fact that people share passwords and whatever, Netflix has cracked down on this, and they charge you more if different households are using it. So, like, if I go over to my mother-in-law's house, who does not watch Netflix, who does not have any need for Netflix, I go to sign in so my daughter can watch something on Netflix, Aquanauts or Octonauts, whatever it's called, whatever it may be that she wants to watch, and I can't sign in. And then it starts asking me, do you want to add this household to your account for a fee? And it's like, no, I don't. I want to watch what I pay for.
Have you signed
which is
out, though,
Netflix.
at home? Have you signed out? I think you need to
No,
sign
why am I
out.
going to sign out for at my house? Like, you can see that I'm not using it at the same time. I'm using it one place, the other place. You should be able to track if two are in use at the same time, and that's how you crack down, not just that it's a different location. So then it asks me, are you on vacation? It's like, guys, come on. I'm one zip code away. You know I'm not on vacation. I'm going to say yes. And then they still tell me, no, you're not on vacation. So what was this, a trick question? You know I'm not on vacation? Why are you asking me this? Why, if I'm paying, why can't I use my Netflix wherever I presently am?
I'm just telling you, if you sign out of your home account, you could travel with your Netflix and watch it elsewhere.
Remember the password.
And then you need to sign in on a remote control. Who wants to do that?
I know, but I go on the road. I want to watch it. I sign out at home. I sign in, Chris Whittingham at whatever, and that's it. I mean, that's the deal. That's what you have to do. Just sign out at home. I mean, you're making a big deal out of nothing, Billy. I support you on everything.
No, it's not a big deal out of nothing.
Signing out?
They don't let me do it. I don't know when I'm going to come back to my house. I don't know sometimes that I leave that I'm going to end up at that house. So every time I leave, I'm supposed to sign out of all of my digital streaming accounts. Absurdity.
Billy, while we're on this topic, don't get me started on Disney Plus. I am so happy that I only had to sign up.
They can kill you.
For that? Yeah. We will get to that. Crazy. That
Allegedly.
story is crazy.
What story?
Billy, do you
There
want
was
to tell the story?
there was someone who was visiting. This is all alleged. Walt Disney
there's a
Company.
lawsuit, ongoing lawsuit.
I was an employee there. I missed my free passes. If you want to send any of those my way, I'll take them. Someone had a food allergy at a restaurant in which they were told they would not have a food allergy, and unfortunately, they passed away as a result of eating something that they were allergic to.
I read about this. This is the waiver. They just hide in the waivers.
Yeah, there's a waiver, and you were a member of Disney Plus saying that you need to settle everything, I think, through like a third-party arbiter or whatever. So legally, the company is now saying, well, you're not allowed to sue us because at one time you had a free trial of Disney Plus. So even though this happened to you at a park because you signed this waiver, you said you would never sue us for anything ever. So now there is a legal situation where you're wondering if something happens to you because you now had this free preview, can you ever get justice?
Is that what's factual? Because what I understood or what I read was that if you signed up for something online, you're automatically agreeing to terms that then make them not liable on an assortment of things.
It was for Disney Plus for something that ended up happening at a park completely unrelated to the Disney Plus, which I think it was even like a free trial.
According to this article, it said that Disney's argument was that the man had allegedly entered into a subscriber agreement when signing up for a Disney Plus trial. Thanks for the pop-up ad, CNN. Years ago, which requires users to arbitrate all disputes with the company. And then years later, he was at this restaurant in Disney Springs, I think, or in Disney, where it was like a restaurant. I've actually heard of, I think it's this restaurant that I've heard of. Like if you have like a severe food allergy, you can go and they're like very careful about food allergies. And then,
is it the T-Rex one?
I don't know.
That's a cool restaurant.
I've never.
Cool. Very scary though, because at some point, spoiler alert, there's like the meteor shower that ended the dinosaurs start happening while you're dining. And then you wonder, are we all going to die? You don't. It's just pretend.
Well, his wife died, and he is seeking $50,000 in damages.
$50,000?
$50,000 pursuant to Florida's Wrongful Death Act, as well as damages for mental pain and suffering, loss of companionship and protection, loss of income, and medical and funeral expenses.
How did we get over here?
I was going to complain about Disney Plus commercials in the middle of movies, but then
Oh, that's a whole nother thing. Guys, my kids have ADD, diagnosed, undiagnosed. They're children. Stop putting commercials in the middle of these things, okay?
And they make the commercials look like it's part of the movie, like it's this like Muppets or Sesame Street like commercial for something. And I'm just trying to watch Cars for my F1 podcast, and I'm hit with 5 commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Stugotz, I wanted to ask you because the last couple of days we've been sort of majestically bemused by the idea that college sports have become such a professional business in ways that are not up for dispute. Did you love as much as I did Mike Gundy, who was in the news most recently because he said, yeah, I've driven drunk thousands of times. Mike Gundy, most famous for I'm a man, I'm 40, 15 years ago. Mike Gundy is now saying at Oklahoma State, which hasn't won a meaningful game the entire time Mike Gundy has been there, that Mike Gundy would be out loud saying, stop asking me for money, kids. Negotiating time is over. It is time now to focus on football. Stop coming around and asking me that brazenly to give you more money. No raises from now until the end of the season.
I kind of understand that. Like, after you have the agreement, like, well, we'll renegotiate when the window opens again in December. Like, let's just, you guys got your stuff. Let's play football now.
No, but it never ends. There's always another school or someone else offering the kid more money, so he goes back to Gundy, more money.
You can't have a system where you're paying a bunch of people a ton and there are no real rules.
And Mike Gundy's the one trying to make them.
Right, and he's going to enforce it. He's going to take time off from watching OAN to briefly legislate the NCAA so he can finish third in his conference forevermore.
But he is great at getting off to a 6-0 start and making you think this might be the year.
They look great in those uniforms.
To be fair, they have won several New Year's Six bowl games and have had several 10-plus win seasons. It's not, I wouldn't say he's never won anything meaningful.
Name one.
The Fiesta Bowl, Oklahoma.
Name two.
The other Fiesta Bowl.
That's not one.
He's been coaching there a long time with them totally happy. Yeah, finished third in the conference.
He won the
every time.
Cheez-It in 2020.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's crazy he's been there since 2005.
He's making over
So
$7 million.
That will give you longevity if you win 10 games there. But now everyone's coming around the office. Coach, more money.
It has to be jarring, though. For years, you're a coach, and no kid ever asks you for money.
We keep that stuff hidden. We don't talk about that in public.
That's the last time I'm going to defend Mike Gundy, by the way. Just moving on.
You're not wrong. You are correct when you say Mike Gundy has made a program that doesn't have any preordained right to be good 10 wins a season, and also doesn't win many meaningful games that I can remember. It may be an indictment of my ignorance. It's fine. I just am used to him playing in those games and then losing 40-12.
While we're on the topic of Oklahoma State, I read an interesting stat yesterday. So Ollie Gordon, who's the returning running back, won the Doak Walker Award last year, and there's only been 3 other running backs who have ever won it twice. So this year he's going to try to win it a second time because he's returning as a junior, I believe. Can you guys name any of the 3 running backs that won the Doak Walker Award twice?
Archie Griffin.
No. I mean, one of them is fairly obvious.
He won the Heisman twice.
He did win the Heisman.
The Doak Walker is a running back award.
Reggie Bush?
He won the Heisman twice. That's why I
Not
said.
Reggie Bush.
Wow.
Herschel Walker.
No. One of them is we should know this one, guys.
Mark Ingram?
No.
Bo Jackson.
No.
Is this going how you thought it would go?
No.
Jessica,
I
go
thought
ahead.
you guys
Derrick Henry.
Go ahead and sit outside, Jessica.
Wow.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ricky-
Was it punished because we're dumb?
Ricky Williams? Have you guys ever heard of
Friend of the show.
2 minutes for quizzing us.
Derailing.
All right, my bad. I won't quiz you anymore. Thought it was an interesting stat.
I'm not going to take a quiz.
He was a Dolphin. He's been on our show 100 times. Dan's
Ricky
friend.
Williams.
I read this yesterday in PFF.
I'm not going to take a quiz.
Did you guys see that on Nick Wright's television show? I don't know if this is something that had happened before today. I saw Eric Mangini make his return to television. For all I know, he's been doing it for several months, several years over there. He disappeared for a while. He was one of those people at ESPN that you see all the time, and then they don't make any kind of announcement. There's not any kind of farewell. Next thing you know, Eric Mangini's over Fox.
Mangenius.
Has he been around? Is this something
He's always around.
He pops on with Carton every once in a while.
He does, you're right.
Tim Hardaway, inexplicably.
I enjoyed seeing Carton the other day with Plaxico Burress, and then I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, hey, look, a convicted felon, and also Plaxico Burress. Didn't they give Carton another job? Didn't they give him a Yankee job now on top of that?
He was a fill-in Yankee play-by-play person for a game. He did a good job, actually. I mean, he did better than me.
Yeah, pretty good for a felon. Pretty good for a convicted felon.
When you look up Eric Mangini TV, his IMDb pops up, and it says he's an actor known for The Sopranos, Ballers, and the NFL on CBS.
Can you guys find out for me?
The Sopranos.
His greatest role was head coach.
Any kind of facts? Because I had not seen Mangini in a while. And I was surprised when he turned up on my television screen. It's not something that I was expecting. And I was surprised that I found myself longing as well. Like, where you been? How did I not know to miss you? I should have missed you. I've missed you. There you are again.
Turns out Mangini won the Doak Walker Award twice.
All right, you go sit with her.
Oh, come on, man.
Darren McFadden.
You go sit with her.
Got a minor penalty, 2 minutes for ruining comedy.
Eric Mangini was actually in The Sopranos.
Yes, I know. He wasn't making that up.
I don't remember that, but I just looked at the scene. They're in a restaurant, and Sopranos like, look, the Jets coach's over there.
That was a joyous time. That was a very good, limited fake, terrible mafioso.
Let me end it there, please.
Yes, I'm not going to ask you for any more of this, but what a lightheaded time in Jets football. Mangini was called Mangenius because he was going to be better than Belichick, who resigned from the Jets on a napkin. And Mangini got there, and
after a day.
James Gandolfini said, you know what? I want to be popular and current. I'm going to go get a surprisingly winning Jets coach. And that was about the 3-month period that Mangini won in. And it was a pop culture phenomenon to get Eric Mangini on The Sopranos.
I just want to play a little clip from this. This is great. All right, I'm going to play it. It's not playing.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
He's going to throw you in the bounty box. Is this Lewis's fault? I mean,
this is good production I'm getting today from the whole group. All right, you know what? I'm going to break. I'm going to break, yes, with Billy and Jessica keeled over at how bad Chris is at his job.
It's a Jets coach, sweetie.
I'm glad we waited for that. It was totally worth
Oh,
it.
man, I loved it. That was great.
Totally worth it. James Gandolfini just doing a head nod over to where Eric Mangini was
The Jets coach.
sitting as a cameo appearance. Play that again for us, please. Why did you exit out of it? You finally
Got a
found
victory.
it.
I'm like, all right, we're good. Exit this thing out.
Retire.
Good to go. Back to you, Dan.
You didn't play for overtime.
No, just get it and play it sporadically
Chris,
here.
just say it like James Gandolfini. He won't know the difference.
Yeah.
It's true. Yours was pretty good. Your
Hey, the
limited
Jets coach.
There you go.
Stugotz, I can make the argument that
It's a Jets coach, sweetie.
that HBO is responsible for 3 of the top 5 television shows of all time. That one, Succession, and The Wire. I would make the argument on behalf of all 3 of those for a personal top 5. But Eric Mangini, is he the only coach? Was he the only sports figure to make a cameo in The Sopranos of any kind? Because I wouldn't have guessed that one either. I wouldn't have guessed that Mangini had made an appearance there either. Stugotz, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something that Bill Simmons brought up on his podcast.
Saragusa was in it, of course.
Oh, that's right, he was.
Another goose.
Yes,
Goose,
he was. Saragusa was in a movie too. He was in a mobster movie. Which was he? A Spike Lee movie with Ed Norton. I'm forgetting the name of it. But Saragusa played a Russian mobster with a terrible accent.
25th Hour?
Yes, 25th Hour.
That's awful casting. I'm sorry.
I mean, he was terrible.
Saragusa as a Russian?
Yes, he was truly terrible. But Bill Simmons mentioned on his podcast, you guys, that Jeff Bezos might be in play for the Celtics. Are the Celtics going to get a football franchise number? Are they going to get a $6 billion figure because Bezos wants into this game? And if he wants into the game, can you guys look up for me, please, what Bezos makes a day? Because these purchases are very easy for him. And one of the things that Simmons brought up on the finances of it, Stugotz, that I found most interesting, because there is going to be a $6 billion price tag on the expansion teams, according to Simmons.
He makes just under $46 million a day.
Okay, so $46 million a day.
1.9 million per hour.
Slightly less than you.
So yes, that's why I'm clamoring for $1 million bill at my local Bank of America.
Do you think he asked the local coffee shop to break it for him for his morning cafecito?
That's what I do. That's how I do it with my $1 million bills. But the $6 billion price tag, Stugotz, the part of that was interesting to me, each of these sports owners, if the league does expand, each of them will get $400 million. Each one of them, the moment that the league expands, for doing nothing but existing in the league. There's the amount of money that these people have access to
is crazy.
As they create separate streams now of money in not just gambling, but now by signing a new television deal that will make it, as Samson and Pablo and Skipper tell you on the sporting class, make it so that it doesn't matter if you're actually watching the games. That the ratings don't matter at all. It's such a foolproof business that it can't be killed by fools. It's just not possible to own a team and not make money. And when I tell you, Stugotz, Bezos isn't going to have to pay attention to a luxury tax. Isn't Ballmer now top 5 wealthiest men in the world? Hasn't Ballmer?
I think he is.
Hasn't Ballmer recently gone past Musk and Bezos, at least in part because he's close. He may not have actually passed them, but at least in part because he's got such an amazing deal with his stadium and everything else. The moment that he got into sports, he started making yet more money by simply making it so that the Clippers weren't a laughing stock, even though they're playing second place in their own city.
He is number 10, according to Forbes' real-time billionaires update list, just behind Bill Gates.
Isn't there a missing billionaire now? don't we have a missing billionaire of some sort? I don't know the details on this
missing
on
billionaire.
the story.
I think a boat sank off the coast of Italy or something, and a billionaire was on it. I'll look into this.
Sounds like an inside job.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I mean,
You think somebody
billionaire boat missing? I mean, what happened
you
there?
ju-
I'm
you
with
just-
him. Something's going on
No,
here.
he just wanted to
Something's
say
afoot.
This is
Thank
this
you.
is look.
Yeah, something's
look,
off. Yeah.
Something's afoot.
What do you mean? I don't know.
Did I use that
Sounds
right?
like an inside job. Stugotz.
Mike Lynch, billionaire tech entrepreneur, missing after sailing yacht, disappears.
And apparently he's also been in the news a lot because he sold his company to HP for more than $11 billion, and there were like lots of ongoing legal disputes after
Stugotz
that.
might be right. Stugotz might be right here.
Apologize.
Sounds like an inside job. Suggests that this guy sank his own boat.
Well,
You said it, not Stugotz.
that's what you want to believe.
Can't
I
rule
mean,
anything out.
Right, naive.
Stugotz thinks that everything's a movie trailer. He just
inside job.
He just wants somebody to utter the sentence in a movie trailer. Sounds like an inside job. It's something that you might hear in The Sopranos if Mangini is sitting at a nearby table and you need the sound of cutlery for your ambient sound.
It's the judge coach, sweetie. I should go say hello.
I feel like if I was a billionaire and I faked my own death, I've had a hard time like reacclimating to society, right? Because like if I was a billionaire and I had a yacht that I sank intentionally, like I'm not going and buying a dinghy. I'm gonna go buy another yacht, and then people say, "Well, who bought that yacht?" Oh, the billionaire that's missing.
Inside job.
So do you think it's an inside job in terms of the billionaire trying to fake his own death, or do we think that this is someone that was signed up for a potential
Jeremy,
inheritance letting him go?
Jeremy, don't
that's a
ask
good
follow-up
question.
questions.
What do you
Stugotz
mean?
just wanted to say, sounds like an inside job.
Just supporting my teammates, Dano.
Which part of this are you not understanding, Stugotz?
I have no idea.
let me,
whether-
let me,
His wife survived.
Oh, inside job.
Sounds like an inside job.
Was Denzel.
Jeremy, I will tell you that as we age, okay, there isn't another show that is presently doing what we're doing, which is 2 straight hours with about 6 minutes of break. By the time that we get to the end of those 2 hours, Stugotz's stamina is so shot that he just says out of the side of his mouth, sounds like an inside job, and he heard like 6 of the syllables in the previous paragraph because it's all just moving too fast.
Yeah, I heard billionaire, ship sinking, he's missing, inside job. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've seen how many times Bourne goes down and all of a sudden there's someone waiting with one of those like little jetpack things underwater and you give them one of those little oxygen tanks. All of a sudden they're looking in that crap river over there in London or wherever it was. People were getting sick. You're looking, there's like helicopters, this and that, and then his head pops up about a mile downriver and he's out, and then boom, he's a different person somewhere else. It happens all the time.
That crap river was in Paris, but there's also a crap river in London, so
Yeah.
we'll let it slide.
billionaires just don't go missing, Dan. They always have a plan. If a billionaire goes missing, it's because he wants you to think that he's missing. That's why.
That is a good theory.
Is it? So
all eyes are usually on billionaires. It's hard for them to just go missing. How did this happen?
Well, apparently there was like some severe weather accident.
That's when you take it out.
And a bunch of, so this is like a super yacht, so there's a huge crew on board, and so one person has been declared dead, I believe. There's a bunch of people missing, including him and I think his daughter, but some people were able to survive on like a smaller life vessel that they were able to escape from while this super yacht was sinking. But like for a yacht that is that size to sink, like that must have been just a crazy storm. I don't really understand the logistics of that.
Right. Inside job.
Are we still making the Bourne movies?
Yes.
We can't still be
No,
making the
we're
Bourne
not still making.
movies.
Are we?
I think there's a new one that's about to come
There
out.
can't.
There is?
No, Stugotz.
Look it up.
So Jeremy Renner. Well, first of all, Jeremy Renner had a bad accident, so he wouldn't be able to play Bourne. I don't think he's fully recovered from that accident. And I think I told you, like the last time that I had talked to Matt Damon in any form, he said that the last Bourne that he did was just him running around, and they were writing the script as they filmed him just running around.
He wasn't just running around; he was cashing checks.
Yeah, well, he was doing that, but he was just running from bank to bank trying to cash $1 million bills because they didn't have a script written around him, and so he just stopped doing it.
I was obsessed with the Bourne movies when I was younger. Oh my God, they used to be on TV all the time.
But are we still doing that? I thought it was done. I thought, when was the last time there was a Bourne movie of any kind?
8 years ago?
When news broke last November that Universal Pictures was developing a 6th Bourne movie, With All Quiet on the Western Front director Edward Berger, fans were left wondering if Matt Damon would be returning to the iconic series. He says, I hope it's great and that we can do it.
I just saw on Apple Matt Damon snuck an Instigators movie in there. There's a whole movie.
Is that good?
No, it's not good. No,
What?
no.
Is it funny?
Two other movies?
Supposed to be cutesy
I heard
funny?
it was good.
No, it's just Matt Damon rehabbing Casey Affleck.
I
who
heard
doesn't
Eric
deserve
Mangini
it.
was in that one too.
Gronk is in it. He just threw Gronk in for no reason.
Walker Award winner.
It's the judge coach, sweetie. I should go say hello.